All right, let us do a TBR. And I've made notes, but I don't have them in front of me right now. And only half the books I physically have access to. Last month overwhelmed me, and I don't know what mood I'm in, so I've attempted a TBR. Based off some things I've purchased recently, based off some obligations I have, based off of what might feel good, and I will not be surprised if the September wrap-up looks nothing like this. It could. I could surprise myself. But, the mental health is doing things. Therefore, I never know what's happening, ever. And I have a knitting project, and I've been wanting to watch TV while I knit instead of listening to an audiobook, and I'm not fighting that. I'm not fighting this urge. I'm about to be in season 6 of Charmed, guys. Season 6 of Charmed is my origin story, okay? That's Chris, young Angela. Her first crush might have been Chris, okay? Now, will that hold up? Probably not, but I digress. To the actual books, though, let's first talk about, I have one holdover from last month that didn't make it, although I'm trying to be ambitious. So I did not, as of filming this, get to The Unbroken. Every time I went to pick it up, I wasn't in the right headspace. But The Sovereign comes out at the end of September, so I would like to read The Unbroken and The Faithless. And my libraries don't really have The Faithless. I have an ARC e-copy of, so I'll have the e-copy. I usually do better if I have the e-versions. But that's a chunky time. I could attempt to listen to this. I've never tried listening to it, so I don't have my own opinion, but I have not heard great things about the pronunciations in the audiobook. Now, that said, it's a fantasy world, so what are people complaining about? But I mean, there are names that are very heavily French-inspired, so if it's a bad French accent, I could see that bothering people who know French. I do not know French. I have the worst French accent you will ever hear. I will not attempt it. But yeah, that's a thing that I would like to do. So that's something that I'm behind on. That's a pullover. Another thing I have, and I'm really excited about this, guys. This is probably my most, I'm most excited about this. Because September is it's the start of fall for me, for most people. At least if you live in continental North America area. And so I have A Sunny Place for Shady People, which is a horror short story collection by one of my favorite horror authors, the author of Our Share of Night, and I think this will be a great way to enter. Now, last September I read a short story collection that I liked but didn't love, but I have so many short story collections around me, and also Latin American Heritage Month starts September 15th and goes through October 15th because I'm sure there's a reason. I truly dislike it because I always forget. But I have a bunch of short story collections that I might try and get to, but this is the priority because it's a buddy read within my Patreon and I'm not going to try and overwhelm myself. But I got 2 other short story collections I'd really like to get to. So I think she's from Argentina. Yes. So Argentina, I have one from Bolivia, and then I think I have one either indigenous United States or Mexico. I can't remember. But I have a variety I would like to read. But this one's specifically spooky, and I have adored this book ever since I purchased it a year ago. So I'm excited. So that one has some good energy. And then do I have any other, there's one other have to read. And maybe that's part of it. I don't have a lot of have to reads, which is good, but also, But for the TBR spin that's run from Freshly Read Books, Sarah from Freshly Read Books, who is basically the main reason why I challenge myself to do anything, because I just love watching her challenge herself, and then I go, could I do it? And the answer is usually, you probably shouldn't. But my spin for this month, it was supposed to be the oldest book still left on your stack of 4, and I think it's this one, More Perfect by Temio. This isn't the oldest book on my TBR, but of the stack that I put together, I believe I purchased this a year and 4 months ago, I think. I know I purchased it at the Brookline Booksmith, but I don't remember when. I don't remember if it was my March purchase or my December purchase. I'm not going to go back into my videos and find out, so I think, with good faith, it's this one. So, this is, I know, an Orpheus and Eurydice retelling, and I think a little sci-fi. So that's also good, getting some sci-fi, but yeah, I think it's sci-fi augmented reality retelling. I really did like Do You Dream of Terror 2 by this author. So yeah, I remember that being a good page turner, even though it was also thick like this. So I'm also just hoping this is also a page turner. Yeah, and the font's pretty big. So margins are pretty good. So now I'm truly in a what does she want to do situation. And so something I have is like on my phone, I have most of my arcs are on a wheel. I won't commit to say all of my arcs because I probably have forgotten something. But most of my arcs are on this spinny wheel and I spun it. And honestly, it was very fortuitous because I think this is also a perfect September, we're entering fall situation. But it selected Hemlock and Silver, which you're wondering, it's an arc. Angela, this is a finished copy. Correct, I bought a finished copy. And honestly, the sprayed edges they're growing on me. They're growing on me. I don't know what this is about because it's a T. Kingfisher and I pretty much auto purchase her books at this point. Apparently our healer regularly drinks poison. That's the first line. So yeah, T. Kingfisher, I think this time last year I was reading Sorceress Comes to Call and that was one of my highlights of September, even though September was like a time. This September is already probably going to be much better. I'm hoping. I'm feeling. Honestly, I didn't know what September had in store for me until it happened. So fingers crossed. So this was fortuitous. And then I did spin it another time. And honestly, I didn't hate the spin, so I'm putting it on here. But I know this is every so often, if you've been following my channel for a while, there's like books that end up on my TBR. And you're like, guys, it's been on the TBR like 5 times. Like no one actually calls me out except for the one time Paladin's Grace kept happening. But I've read that now. And that's becoming The Stars Undying. How many TBRs can it be on before it's embarrassing? I don't know. But I do want to read it, and I want to read more science fiction. And it's a sci-fi book that I not only have an arc of, but I think I would really like immersion reading. So I spun that wheel, and this showed up. That doesn't mean I'll get to it, but there's a higher chance because I'm, thinking about it. And then my last 3 are truly me just vibing. So 2 of them are still the Ursula K. Le Guin Award in fiction books that I just haven't gotten to yet that I still think I'm interested in. One is Remember You Will Die. I've talked about this a lot. In my Discord, someone has shared a video of like a sock puppet, like reading it or something. I don't remember the context, but a lot of people suddenly put it on their TBR after this. For me, I am very interested in it because it's obituaries. I'm mixed media via obituaries, interconnected. That's the type of experimental stuff that like really makes me go, ooh, this could be my new personality. Will it? I don't know, but like that's the irrational pull I have to it. And then the other one is Archangel of Funk, and this ended up back on here. I mean, I was interested in it. When I listened to the audiobook of like the first 30 minutes or so, I was like, this is interesting. I think I want to immersion read it because I really do like the audio production, but I was also feeling a little untethered. And so I was like, yeah, but I had no immersion reading time when I first thought that. And recently, Ryan and I were on a road trip back from Canada, and I thought about trying, there was like this audio drama that I had that was inspired by N.K. Jemisin's story. It wasn't very good. It was called like Amorph. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I listened to it for like an hour, and I was like, I don't really want to listen to this for 2 more hours. But it had that like cyberpunk energy that Archangel Punk had. And I'm like, but I would like to read this. Like, I think I do want to read this. Because I thought originally when I was listening to Amorph that, like, Jemison helped write it. And I don't believe that that's what happened. It's a very weird, I don't know. Maybe audio dramas just aren't for me. I don't know. And so then my last thing on my list is, I think it's time for another Bujold. And so my next Bujold is Paladins of Souls. I don't know what this is about. I know it's timeline-wise after Curse of Chalion. I believe it's a character I've met in Curse of Chalion, but I don't have the context. I don't know anything. I know nothing. It's Bujold. Like, again, T. Kingfisher, Bujold. I simply read. That is what I do. But yeah, and this feels a bit more manageable. We'll see if I pivot to anything. I'm sure things will sneak on and sneak off based off my mood. My teaching schedule is very interesting this year. I don't know if that means I'll be more or less busy than normal. I have no idea. So I'm just playing it by ear and hopefully finding things that I want to read. I think that's been my struggle a little bit, is like the motivation to read has been fleeting, to say the least. And I mean, some of these are audiobooks, which will be good, although I guess this thing is looming over me. I haven't put it on this TBR because I wanted to be happy. But there is the 3rd Dragonbone chair book. And so, like, we are, in theory, discussing that in the middle to end of October, so I should probably touch it in September. but I don't really want to. But we'll see if I have other books that interest me more and how often I'm in the yard, because we are going to start getting into it's time to rake all the leaves season and like all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know how I do this to myself, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. What are you going to be reading in September? Are you also attempting to be seasonal, or are you still just like reading per usual? I'm not like a super seasonal reader, but I don't mind the alignment. Let me just put it that way. Like, I do think one of my reads at the end of August was a pretty good transition book as well, and that just like kind of makes me happy. If you just want to leave an emoji though to let me know you're here, leave an apple for Hemlock and Silver. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.